Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rahak Kodash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the Akim who tune into these videos. Alright, so in this video, I'm going to be speaking about prophecy. And in this article, it speaks about how, I'm going to read the title. It says, Biden offers stark Armageddon warning on the dangers of Putin's nuclear threats. And the reason why we're speaking about these things is because we're measuring the times diligently, we're standing on our watch, and we're seeing all these prophecies manifest. And one of the big ones that we're also preaching on the highways and hedges is that there's going to be a World War III. Thus says the scriptures. And in this World War III isn't going to be fought like how the other world wars are going to be fought. It's going to be fought with burning and a fire. And you could read the scriptures, and if you have the understanding, you can get precept upon precept, line upon line, hear a little and hear a little about how this place is going to go down with these thermonuclear missiles. Like one off the top of my head is in Zechariah 14, and I'll go ahead and get that real quick. Yeah, because the men of Great Millstone, we're speaking in prophecy, and this is one of those prophecies that are going to happen, all in the midst of all these calamities that is going to happen, in these up and coming days. It's also spoken about in Matthew 24 when the disciples asked about how it's gonna play out, about the end of the world. But I'm gonna read this in Zechariah 14, and let me see. I'll start at verse 12. This is Zechariah 14, verse 12. It says, And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongues shall consume away in their mouth. And this is talking about the thermonuclear missiles, because all these people who disregard us, who gainsay us, or come up against the prophets of the nation of Israel, because right now the Lord is only dealing with the remnants, the ones who adhere to this word and are putting work into this ministry. And so those people, even amongst our own, which is known as the 2/3, they're going to fight against Jerusalem, the house of David. And so with that, there's going to be a big judgment. And if all these things about Jacob's trouble, with the teeth of wild, the wild beasts with teeth, or famines, plagues, pestilences, or even Esau, out there, while it's martial law, or like how we like to say Jacob's trouble, it's because it's going to be like no other time, like never was since before. And if you read in the book of Daniel, it speaks about those who are found written in the book of life, because it's going to get so crazy that the Lord is going to send the archangel Michael to defend us. And it's only going to have that hedge of protection to the hopeful elect, the ones who are, steadfast in this ministry. This is Daniel 12:1. It says, And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. And so, when you're in this ministry, you want to hope and pray that you're of the elect. That's why we put on, therefore, the elect, and we continue in this ministry and rehearse the righteous acts. And we're telling the people so that we could save the ones who are going to adhere to it, but the ones who disregard, it's an act of we're washing the blood off our hands, because we're not really worried about the 2/3 of the nation of Israel, because the scriptures lay it out plainly that those who fought against Jerusalem, even that of our own, of the 2/3 of the nation of Israel, to be specific, their flesh is going to be consumed away with that final plague that the Heavenly Father is going to dish out on this place. And it's all going to happen, after one domino after another, during Jacob's trouble. And I'm going to read this in Matthew 24, because you read this whole chapter, and it goes into prophecy of the last days. It's going pretty much giving you like a nice imagery or a nice depiction and understanding of how it's going to be before Yahushua returns. So this is Matthew 24, and I'll start at verse 3. It says, And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming, and of the end of the world? So this is the ministry that we're a part of, because the disciples at the time who became apostles, they were asking these questions, because these are actual, like, real questions they need to have answered, because we're measuring the time diligently for all these things to come to pass. And they even asked Yahushua, when is all these things going to happen? The signs of thy coming and of the end of the world. And we're talking about the end of this world, because this place is going to be made new, refreshed. But verse 4 says, And Yahushua answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Hamashiach, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. So this is coming out of the mouth of the Messiah, Yahweh Shai Hamashiach, and this is what we're told to look after, to measure the times to see, and that's what we're doing. Where we got on our phones, we go on the TV, the news, or however it may be, we're searching out these things, and like this specifically, no one's talking about it, at my job site or family. This is literally something as a bad news to the world, because it's adversarial to the world. It's pretty much telling them that it's the last call, that the party's almost over. So only the prophets are going to be speaking about this and emboldened by it, because we understand that this is all, well, like as I'm reading it, this is like the beginning part of Matthew 24. So we're rejoicing in these prophecies being fulfilled. This right here proves that the scriptures are real, because they're jumping out of the pages and happening in front of our very eyes. And I'm just going to read just a little bit of this article, because it's the Washington CNN. It says the President Joe Biden on Thursday delivered a stark warning about the dangers behind Russian President Vladimir Putin's nuclear threats, as Moscow continued to face military setbacks in Ukraine. Because this war is going to be that of a nuclear war. I'll continue on. It says, he added, I don't think there's any such thing as the ability to easily use a tactical nuclear weapon and not end up with Armageddon. It's striking for the president to speak so candidly and invoke Armageddon. Because this is on their plate right now, and they have to eat it. And they have to pretty much speak about this thing, because this is actually going to happen. Just as all the prophecies that are written in the scriptures are going to happen, this isn't the only thing that's on their plate. You got the famines, you got the pestilences, all the plagues of Egypt from before, and then you got the nation of Israel, going haywire, because it's going to be a lack of bread out here. So it's going to be back-to-back chaos out here. Just how it reads in Daniel 12, it's going to be like no time such as never was. This is going to be Jacob's trouble. And this should motivate you and give you fear, to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, because you don't want to be out there without that hedge of protection. You want your name to be found written in the book, because the only way to be delivered out of this is to ultimately have faith. With that faith is you're going to have works to prove that faith. We're doing that with these epistles, and letting the brothers know that our time is almost out of here. Barakatah Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. We're hasting the day. Just as the scripture says, you could find faith down here. Well, I'll say it like this: when Yahushua returns, he will find faith down here, because his servants are still working. And you can see that mainly here in the Great Millstone Camp, from our apostles and our elders on down. Not everybody, like I was saying, not everybody's speaking about this, because this is bad news for them. Like, they haven't read Daniel 12. You read this to a person who's going to have like ears to hear and eyes to see, and they're going to see that yes, there is going to be an impending doom, because it's written in the scriptures, and the only way to get out of it is to have your name found written in the book of life. Salakia. So this really it gives you a healthy fear to continue in this ministry, and not to be in the broad gate where all these people, like how they say in the world, I forgot how the saying goes, but like the people in the world, they pretty much they're like equated to an ostrich that puts their head in the sand because they don't want to hear it. They'd rather just continue in their folly and not regard the scriptures to be evident and true. I'll just read this right here. It says, "Someone hiding their head in the sand like an ostrich is said to be foolishly ignoring their problem while hoping it will magically vanish." And that's these people. Their ultimate hope and faith is that the scriptures aren't real and that this will all just blow over. Well, I got some bad news for you. As a prophet of doom and gloom, is that to what end is it for you to the day of the Lord? It's going to be darkness and not light. Those who are of the 2/3 and everyone around who are coming up against the nation of Israel, like how it says here, is these people who have fought against Jerusalem. We're the two witnesses, and you got all these people. They got blood on their hands, and we're telling you how Bashim Yahushai, we're sighing and crying for all the abominations done down here. So yeah, when Yahushai returns speedily, he's going to deliver his elect, and he's going to rain judgment upon those who have tried to pluck off our skin and keep us down in a low state. Yeah, so I want to read these few precepts, it's going into, because this is a prophecy. And this is Revelation 11 verse 14. It says, "The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly." And this is speaking about the third woe. And it's crazy because this precept right here is really short, simple, and to the point. Yet it goes over a lot of people's heads. They really don't want to believe it. They don't want to adhere to the scriptures. They want to take a little bit here and there and pretty much take a jot and tittle off of this, pretty much removing this precept because they like to think that this world is peaceful and yada yada yada. The last thing on their mind is that Yahweh Shai is going to return, like quite literally, because they're so attached to this world. But then the world right here is telling you on the news that all talks it's nuclear threats. That this party is about to go out. Yeah, but so anyways, I want to read back here in Matthew 24, and I'll start again at verse I think I stopped at verse 6. It says, "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places." So not only are we speaking about the impending wars, but we're speaking about the famines, the pestilences, the earthquakes in diverse places. And verse 8 says, "All these are the beginning of sorrows," which this is speaking about Jacob's trouble. Because once Jacob's trouble is happening, you best believe that those are the times where, like how we're in the lot of Noah, we're in the ark, that's that time where that door is shut. So right now you have to seek the Lord now while he may be found. Diligently seek him, so that you could be found written in the name of the book of life. It's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power. And you can see all these things. These are all for the wicked, especially for the wicked of our people. Because when all these things are happening, really it's house cleaning, like how the scripture says, because that's what Yahweh Shai wants to return, and the first thing he's really sending that spirit out there to do, he's kindling that fire, to clean the house, because we're not going to have the nation of Israel in a downtrodden state. You're only going to find noble and worthy people, worthy to be delivered in this ministry, and those who have faith and believe in this ministry on the outside, whoever you may be, because we're pretty much in the present right now, where we could see in the future that all these things are about to happen. So what manner of person are you to be in all holy convocation? So I want to read this in this is in the book of Obadiah, because this is going into the details of World War III. Because Esau, Edom, he's the one who has the earth in his hands right now, and he's destroying it, and then also he's pretty much making it grievous for all the other heathens round about. That's why you see World War III starting to get on the news speaking points. Because you got a whole bunch of key players. You got China, Iran, North Korea, just to name a few, and all of them pretty much have it out against Esau. So this is in Obadiah verse 6. All right, and it reads, "How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee." And this also goes into within the nation of Edom. All the tribes within it. You're gonna have Egyptian against Egyptian, because really all these World War I, World War II, World War III, really it's always been Esau versus Esau. It ain't gonna be too much different. For the third one. It's just that it's gonna involve all the heathens round about, because this one is gonna be the final one. It's gonna be held at the Valley of Yehoshaphat, the Valley of Decision. And I got that here in Joel 3, but I'll finish this off in verse 7 of Obadiah. It says, "The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him." So this was going to happen to Esau, Edom. And then you got, with all these key players, you got the Whore of Babylon and the beast system, NATO and the EU. You're going to see World War III take place, and it's going to be with thermonuclear missiles. Because these are key players. These guys, they got all the stockades of all these weapons. You think they're not going to use it for their last go around? Because I believe that some of the Edomites of the elites, they understand that this is the last go around. That's why they're building those bunkers. And I could bring that out in Revelation. But for the time's sake, I'm just going to speak about World War III, because they're preparing for trying to deliver themselves out of the aftermath in those bunkers, hiding themselves in the mountains. So if they're building bunkers and nuclear weapons, it's because they're planning to use them. But so I want to read this in Revelation 17, verse 16. It says, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore." And if you go into the details, that goes into the EU, because when the EU, or NATO and the EU, they were established, it was those 10 nations after the Treaty of Rome. You could look this all history up yourself, just going into proving that this is Esau, Edom. He can't escape his himself. He can't hide his devil tail anymore. The devil has been searched out, and everything he does, it has that bloody footprint. Because it's funny, because he called it the Treaty of Rome when they established NATO and the EU, and at that time it was established with 10 nations, and it's represented here with the 10 horns, and it says, "Which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore." Because if you go into the prophecy of how this place was established, like in the book of Daniel and the book of Revelation, you had the 3 key players of the Edomites, which you had the not the Roman Empire. You had the British Empire, the Spanish Empire, and the French Empire. And during the 15th, 16th, 17th century, I forget the specific years, but that was before America was established as a nation. They were actually going to war with each other, and then they came here to the Americas. That's why this place was divvied up. You have pretty much everybody here, including you have all the Israelites over here in the land of our captivity. You even have all the captors here. You got all the Edomites who are key players, all throughout history here. And they're all going to be thrown down altogether. But going into those 3 nations, Spain, France, and the United Kingdom, the American, the government, the country came out of the British Empire, and that represents the whore of Babylon, because when they established this place, they say that they established this land upon the Bible, but really they were just lying, because you look outside the window and you just try to see or fit it in the scriptures, and the only thing you can do out of a process of elimination is see that this place is the daughter of Babylon, who ought to be destroyed. And all of these these nations, NATO and the EU, they're going to see that that the whore of Babylon is doing too much. that it's going to pretty much cause World War III to happen with thermonuclear missiles. And this is threatening, mostly to the Edomites because it goes against their power structure. You don't have the heathens round about doing like some crazy stuff how Esau's doing, where he's planning to destroy everybody. They call it the Samson option. You only hear that with Esau because he's more stout than his fellows. But the beast is gonna hate the whore, causing World War III, because with all those NATO and the EU and the countries that are signed treaties with each other, if one goes into war, the other one goes into war, and vice versa, just like a domino effect. And then continuing on, it says, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. And that's talking about the thermonuclear missiles, because this place got hurtful works. And then, the last precept I wanted to read here is in Joel 3, and I'm going to start at verse 9. It says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Assemble yourself and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Let the heathen be wakened, and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. And then I'm going to read all the way to 14. It says, put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come get you down, for the press is full, the fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. So the day of the Lord is spoken throughout all the scriptures, and it's referred to as World War III, to the heathens. To us, the day of the Lord, if your name is found written in the book of life, when he returns, he finds faith down here, and it's within you, then it's all good. But it's a doom and gloomy day, for all these heathen round about who made war against the nation of Israel. And then just to finish on a good note, because if you read this in Isaiah 2, I believe, because it's after all the aftermath, after the nation of Israel has been, the elect has been delivered, and they receive those hearts of flesh, and then we return and we receive all these nations as tributaries. They're not going to learn World War III, letting you know that this right here is an unfulfilled prophecy, along with this one, because this one can't happen until this one happens. So you got prophecies after prophecies that are about to be fulfilled in the future. So this is Isaiah 2, verse 4, and it says, and he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war any more. And that's what's going to happen with the heathen nations round about, because it would be futile at that point. They pretty much have to worship us, or I'll say like this: they have to worship Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, and we're going to be the judges and priests to make sure that plays out. So that's the end of this video. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, B'Shem Rachak V'dash. Shalom Akim.